Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to start with a terrifying digital campfire story. It's a chilling piece of internet folklore that has kept people wide awake at night for literally decades. But listen, we aren't just here to get spooked today. We're going to shine a massive, bright light right into the darkest corners of the web to investigate the chilling reality and the profound psychological illusions behind this modern myth. Are you ready to dive into the shadows? Let's begin.
Picture this for a second. It's way past midnight and you're browsing the internet. The room is dead quiet, illuminated only by the cold glow of your monitor. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a small, stark red pop-up window forces its way onto your screen. Written in plain black text is a simple, highly unsettling question. Do you like? You instinctively try to click the X to close it, right? But it doesn't work. It pops up again. Then, a synthetic, eerie voice actually reads the text out loud through your speakers. You try to close it one more time, and the text expands. Do you like the red room? The legend says that anyone who sees this inescapable pop-up is completely doomed. The story goes that their screen fills up with a massive list of names, the previous victims, and by the very next day, they are found dead in their own home, having supposedly taken their own lives, with the walls of their room painted entirely in their own blood. Terrifying, right?
So let's really dive into this. Where did this absolute nightmare actually originate? Believe it or not, it goes all the way back to the Web 1.0 era in the late 1990s. The Red Room curse, or a kaiheya, began as nothing more than an anonymous, interactive Adobe Flash animation hosted on a random Japanese GeoCities page. It was basically a simple, low-bandwidth horror short about a boy who encountered this exact pop-up and met a truly gruesome fate. Now remember the era of dial-up internet? Unblockable pop-up ads were a massive, highly annoying part of everyday browsing. So this Flash animation struck an absolute nerve. It spread like wildfire through chain emails, playing brilliantly on our very early anxieties about computer viruses and the unknown dangers that might just be lurking inside our machines.
But you know how it goes. As the internet evolved, so did our fears, and this legend dramatically mutated. Today, the surface web, the internet we use every single day for search engines, social media, the news, makes up only about 4% of the entire internet. Think about that for a second. Just 4%. The vast majority is the deep web, which requires specific credentials to access, and the dark web, requiring specialized software like Tor to even see. That leaves an unimaginably vast, unknown, and largely unindexed space. And honestly, human nature dictates that wherever there is an unmapped shadow, we are going to invent some kind of monster to hide inside it.
And that brings us to the terrifying Web 2.0 evolution of the myth, the dark web red room. The ghost story of a cursed pop-up transformed into something far more grounded and infinitely more horrifying. The modern legend claims that red rooms are hidden, heavily encrypted websites operating on the Tor network. Here, anonymous viewers supposedly log in and pay exorbitant amounts of cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin or Monero, to watch real-time interactive horrors. The myth suggests that these viewers can even use chat functions to direct the torture and murder of innocent victims, completely live on screen. It is without a doubt the ultimate digital nightmare. It blends high technology, complete anonymity, and the absolute worst depths of human depravity.
Here is a quick look at how the legend evolved. From the late 1990s Japanese Flash animation to the tragic Sasebo slashing in 2004, followed by the dark web Bitcoin rumors of the 2010s, all the way to modern media like the 2023 release of the film Les Chambres Rouges.
Section 1. When reality bites back.
To really understand why people bought into this myth so hardcore, we've got to look at when the digital folklore actually bled into the real world. On June 1, 2004, in Sasebo, Japan, an 11-year-old girl, who the media just called Girl A, murdered her 12-year-old classmate Satomi Matarai with a box cutter in an empty classroom. It was an incredibly brutal tragedy that shocked the entire nation. Because of her young age, her name was withheld, and the internet morbidly dubbed her Nevada Tan after a sweatshirt she was wearing. But what sent a truly chilling shockwave through the public was a subsequent discovery on the perpetrator's computer. Authorities actually found the original Red Room Flash animation bookmarked in her web browser. Suddenly, this curse wasn't just some silly internet prank anymore. It was directly associated with a real gruesome murder. This tragic event sparked massive national debates about minors having unrestricted access to the internet, and it gave the Red Room legend a deadly, real-life credibility.
And unfortunately, the horrific real-world connections did not stop there. Further fueling the sheer terror of the myth was the 2015 arrest of a man named Peter Scully. Scully was operating a site on the dark web called Daisy's Destruction. Now, I absolutely won't go into the harrowing details here, but I will tell you it was an actual, verified dark web ring dealing in extreme, unspeakable abuse videos. While it was definitively not a live-streamed interactive Red Room, the very existence of Scully's monstrous enterprise essentially proved to the public that the darkest corners of the internet were indeed harboring real-life monsters who were selling horrific content for profit.
This brilliantly illustrates exactly why the myth is so pervasive today. When you have highly publicized cases of drug trafficking, illegal weapons sales, and horrific abuse networks clearly thriving on the dark web, the concept of a live-streamed murder room honestly doesn't sound like a ghost story anymore. It feels entirely, horrifyingly plausible to the general public. As experts rightly point out, because the dark web genuinely hosts severe illegal activities, that reality provides the perfect, fertile soil for the Red Room myth to grow and thrive in our collective imagination.
Section 2. Debunking the dark web.
All right, it is time to bring out the flashlight and absolutely gut this legend. When we compare the terrifying myth of the Red Room directly to the actual, hard technical capabilities of the Tor network, the entire legend immediately starts to unravel. The myth promises this seamless, live, highly interactive 4K video stream where users globally can just chat and direct horrific actions in real time without ever being traced. But what's the reality? The Tor network is notoriously, painfully laggy. It is structurally incapable of hosting high-quality live video streams, period. The supposed Red Room links you might find floating around the depths of Reddit or 4chan, they are almost entirely fake sites built for phishing or straightforward financial fraud. Let's talk tech for a second to really understand this reality. To maintain total anonymity, the Tor network uses what's called onion routing. Your data doesn't just go from point A to point B. Instead, it bounces through multiple randomized nodes all around the world, with layers of encryption being added and removed at every single step. This intense process creates massive latency. It drastically slows down data transfer to a crawl. There is simply insufficient bandwidth on the Tor network to support a high-quality, uninterrupted live video stream. On top of that, transmitting that massive amount of continuous video data makes it incredibly difficult to actually stay hidden from authorities. It leaves a footprint. This is exactly why, to date, there are zero verified law enforcement cases of interactive, real-time murder streams operating on the dark web. It is literally a technical impossibility.
So if the technology is a total bust, what are people actually finding when they click on a supposed Red Room link? Well, cybersecurity experts have proven time and time again that these dark web sites are nothing more than elaborate financial scams, perfectly designed to exploit morbid human curiosity. The anatomy of the scam is actually incredibly simple. Step 1, the scammers create a spooky, hidden landing page featuring a menacing countdown timer. Step 2, they demand a hefty entry fee in an untraceable cryptocurrency, usually Bitcoin or Monero, just to gain access. Step 3, once that countdown finally hits 0, the site either delivers a fake, pre-recorded, low-quality video, which is often just ripped straight from an indie horror movie, or much more commonly, the site simply crashes, the scammers pocket the crypto, and they completely disappear into the digital ether. It's a grift.
Section 3. Our digital boogeymen.
So that begs the question. If the technology doesn't support the crime and it's all just a scam, why do we hold on so tightly to this specific legend? Why does it scare us so much? To answer that, we have to look backward. Our modern digital horror stories are, at their very core, just evolutions of traditional ghost stories. Take, for example, the classic 1894 short story literally titled The Red Room, written by the legendary H.G. Wells. Over a century before we even had the internet, Wells was writing about a specific room that people were absolutely terrified to enter, completely convinced it was cursed and haunted by the dead.
In Wells's story, there's a highly skeptical protagonist who insists on spending the night in this infamous haunted red room of an old castle, just to prove the ghosts aren't real. But as the night creeps on, the drafts in the castle keep blowing out his candles, plunging him into total darkness. Panic completely overtakes him. He ends up injuring himself in a blind, desperate terror. And when he finally wakes up the next day, he realizes the profound truth. He tells the castle caretakers that the room isn't haunted by a ghost at all. As he beautifully puts it, the room is haunted by fear itself. Just as the guy in Wells' story discovers the only actual monster is his own raging paranoia, the dark web Red Room is largely just a projection of our modern techno fears. We are projecting our deepest anxieties about a vast, anonymous, and uncontrollable internet directly into a digital haunted house.
And honestly,
that profound psychological truth is exactly what makes the myth so compelling to creators today. The 2023 Canadian psychological thriller Les Chambres Rouges, or Red Rooms, directed by Pascal Plante, captures this perfectly. The film is brilliant because it doesn't actually focus on the gory details of a murder. Instead, it focuses on Kellyanne, a woman who becomes deeply obsessed with a serial killer who allegedly broadcast his crimes in a red room. The film uses the myth to hold up a very dark mirror to the audience. It explores our morbid societal obsession with true crime, the profound danger of anonymous spectatorship, and the terrifying erosion of human empathy in the digital era. The real horror isn't the technology itself. The horror is that human beings are curious enough to go looking for it in the first place.
So let's bring it all home. The crucial takeaway here is this: the live-streamed cryptocurrency-funded dark web Red Room is a technical impossibility. It is a modern urban legend completely debunked, serving as nothing more than a scam designed to steal from the morbidly curious. However, the fear that sustains that legend is entirely real. The story forces us to confront the absolute darkest aspects of human nature and our deep-seated, very valid anxieties about the digital world we have constructed. The Red Room livestream may just be an urban legend today, but it leaves us to critically reflect on something very important. As we spend more and more of our lives in completely anonymous digital spaces, what other digital monsters are we inadvertently feeding in the shadows of the internet? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Until next time, stay curious and please stay safe out there.